Well, it's 10 a.m. by the studio clock. You're watching Rajya Sabha TV. I'm inNIT with the breakfast news. These are the headlines this Wednesday. Iceland Prime Minister becomes first casualty of Panama Papers leak, steps down after massive protest. In India, superstar Amitabh Bachchan issues statement, says his name is being misused. Big upset in U.S. presidential polls. Republican Ted Cruz wins Wisconsin primary, dealing a big blow to Donald Trump. Democrat Bernie Sanders backs the state, upsetting Hillary Clinton. CRPF deployed in NIT campus in Srinagar after police lathi-charged students attempting to leave the campus. Home Minister speaks to Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti, HRD team to visit campus today. Nitish Kumar declares Bihar a dry state, imposes total ban on sale and consumption of alcohol. And Sri Lanka's parliament sets up mechanism to formulate new constitution. Historic move likely to give Tamils greater autonomy. To start with, news that has raised shockwaves across the world. The first hair has rolled following revelations of offshore accounts by many of its prominent figures. The Prime Minister of Iceland has quit following massive protests in his country. Several other countries have also set up committees to probe into documents to stem money leaving their countries illegally. Iceland's Prime Minister Sigmundur David Gunnlaugsson has resigned, becoming the first casualty of the leaked documents from a Panamanian law firm which revealed offshore accounts of an array of politicians and public figures worldwide. Gunnlaugsson first tried to hold on to the premiership by seeking the dissolution of parliament. But after the president refused to grant the request, he stepped down ahead of a planned vote of no confidence. Earlier, thousands of Icelanders gathered in front of the parliament, demanding the departure of the leader of the centre-right coalition government in power since 2013.
Hann mun áfram starfa sem formaður flokksins og þessi tillaga var samþykkt á þingflokknum. Við metum það sem mjög virðingarverða stöðu af honum að taka þetta skref.
In Britain, Prime Minister David Cameron said he did not own any shares or have offshore funds after his late father was included in the leaked list of clients. FIFA President Gianni Infantino released a statement denying involvement with companies implicated in the Panama leaks.
All I have no shares, no offshore trusts, no offshore funds, nothing like that. And so that, I think, is a very clear description.
Several countries have started taking action to prevent such incidents from being repeated. The French government announced it would put Panama back on its blacklist of uncooperative tax jurisdictions. US President Barack Obama also urged Congress to take action to stop US companies from taking advantage of tax loopholes that allow them to avoid paying sufficient taxes.
The Treasury Department actions will make it more difficult and less lucrative for companies to exploit this particular corporate inversions loophole. Only Congress can close it for good. And only Congress can make sure that all the other loopholes that are being taken advantage of.
While Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's son Hussain Nawaz said there was nothing illegal about the family's ownership of the offshore companies. Pakistan has set up a commission to investigate allegations based on the leaked documents.
मेरे खिलाफ जो है ना कोई केस टू आंसर है तो जो है मैं बिल्कुल जो है अपने आप को जो है ना अपना एक एक्विटेबल और एक जुडिशियस इन्वेस्टिगेशन के लिए तैयार हूं।
आला सतही अदालती कमीशन कायम करने का फैसला किया है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट के एक रिटायर्ड जज इस कमीशन के सरबराह होंगे। ये कमीशन अपनी तहकीकात के बाद फैसला देगा कि असल हकीकत क्या है और इल्ज़ामात में कितना वज़न है।
A year-long investigation into a trove of 11.5 million documents from the law firm Mossack Fonseca led to these revelations. The documents were anonymously leaked to a German daily and shared with more than 100 media groups by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And in India, the prominent personalities who've been named in the Panama leak documents for allegedly evading taxes are now defending themselves. Veteran actor Amitabh Bachchan claims his name is being misused. His daughter-in-law Aishwarya Rai Bachchan has rubbished the documents as untrue. The government, however, maintains it is committed to act against black money holders and has set up a multi-agency probe. The RBI too is part of the special probe team. A chorus of denials by those named in the Panama Papers. The massive leak of tax documents on offshore companies and accounts of the rich and powerful across the world. Megastar Amitabh Bachchan, one of the most prominent Indian figures on the list, has denied any wrongdoing on his part. Dismissing reports on his connection with foreign companies to evade taxes, the veteran actor claimed he has paid all his taxes, including on money spent by him overseas. Bachchan alleged his name may have been misused. His daughter-in-law Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, a former Miss World, whose name also figures in the list of 500 Indians in the Panama Papers, also rejected the documents. Her office released a statement calling the papers totally untrue and false. Similar statements were released by the Adani Group, whose chairman Gautam Adani's elder brother Vinod Adani has been named in the Panama documents. The group alleged a deliberate attempt to draw Gautam Adani's name in the entire controversy to mischievously sensationalize the matter. Meanwhile, a fresh report in the Indian Express reveals that the world's largest commercial banknote maker, De La Rue, had contracted a New Delhi businessman to help it bag tenders in India in return for a 15% commission, besides significant amounts as out-of-pocket expenses towards marketing services. It claims that De La Rue International Limited entered into an agency agreement with Afra Consultants on the 1st of April 2002, through which Afra was appointed a non-exclusive consultant to introduce business opportunities for De La Rue in Southeast Asia, including India. Amid fresh revelations, the opposition pressure continues to mount on the government. Several leaders have demanded that the case be handed to the Supreme Court.
What is it that Modi ji wants to hide in these 500 names? What is his government scared of? Why is his government not proceeding to hand over these 500 names to Supreme Court's bench, which is investigating black money?
कितना विश्वास सरकार पे किया जाए कि सरकार वाकई में ईमानदारी से काला धन लाने की कोशिश कर रही है, जब सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जज जो हैं वो SIT फॉर्मुलेट करके इस पर काम कर रहे हैं, तो उन्हें सौंपना चाहिए.
Panama Papers indicate that a great many Indians, affluent Indians, use the tax-free haven route to hide their incomes, and in some cases there is criminality in it. The government must carry out a thorough probe.
The government has already set up a special multi-agency probe team to look into all cases of Indians with offshore entities in tax havens. The RBI is also a part of the probe team and has begun work on looking into the legitimacy of such holdings of Indians named in the leaked Panama list. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And on to some other important news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the Stand Up India scheme yesterday, promising to change the lives of Dalits, tribals and women entrepreneurs. He said the scheme will give people opportunities for growth.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi launching another pet initiative of his government. The Stand Up India scheme promotes entrepreneurship among scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and women by facilitating loans in the range of 10 lakh to 1 crore rupees. A web portal was also launched to enable online registration and support services.
अगर अवसर मिलने पर हम कुछ कर सकते हैं, तो अवसर मिलने पर मेरे दलित और आदिवासी भाई बहन भी उतना ही उत्तम काम कर सकते हैं और देश को बहुत योगदान दे सकते हैं. और इसलिए जीवन के हर क्षेत्र में समाज का जो आखिरी छोर पर बैठा हुआ व्यक्ति है, उसको आगे आने का अवसर मिलना चाहिए. उसको किसी की कृपा पर जीने के लिए मजबूर नहीं होना चाहिए.
The Prime Minister also distributed 5,100 e-rickshaws under the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana.
5,000 से ज्यादा 5100 ई रिक्शा आज देने का कार्यक्रम हो रहा है। अब ये अपनी ई रिक्शा के मालिक बन जाएंगे जो कल तक किराए की रिक्शा पर गुजारा करते थे। और योजना ऐसा बनी है कि दिन भर की कमाई में से थोड़े पैसे डाल करके वो उसके मालिक बन जाएंगे। दूसरा, ई रिक्शा होने के कारण शरीर को जो मजदूरी करनी पड़ती थी वो कम हो जाएगी।
The government is planning to create 2.5 lakh entrepreneurs through the scheme. Every bank branch will be required to provide 2 loans without collateral for setting up new enterprises. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And the Prime Minister also took a veiled dig at large corporate defaulters at the event. The Prime Minister said that poor people were generous and honest, but some rich borrowers looked for ways to flee after taking huge loans. He, however, did not name liquor baron Vijay Mallya, whose group company owes over 9,000 crore rupees to as many as 17 banks. The Prime Minister also said that under the Jan Dhan Yojana scheme, poor people were encouraged to zero balance account, but they have deposited 35,000 crore rupees till now.
हमने गरीबों से कहा था आपके पैसों की जरूरत नहीं, बस आप जुड़ जाइए। लेकिन मेरे देश के गरीबों की अमीरी देखिए, मेरे देश के गरीबों की अमीरी देखिए। देश ने अमीरों की गरीबी देख ली है। बैंकों से रुपये लेकर के भागना कैसा, इसके रास्ते लोग खोज रहे हैं।
Well, the second part of the budget session of Parliament will commence on the 25th of April and conclude on the 13th of May. This was announced by Parliamentary Affairs Minister Venkaiah Naidu. The Parliament was prorogued because of the political situation in Uttarakhand. Now, the government hopes to clear key legislations, including the GST bill, during this part of the session. The BJP also hopes to get support from the opposition, including the Congress, over the GST bill. The Congress has said it has raised some objections to the bill, but that it is not blocking the passage of the key bill.
So I only hope in the coming days also the Parliament will be fruitful. I want to share with you the next half of the Parliament session is going to commence from 25th of this month. Earlier there was some speculation that we have done away with the second part of the budget session. Some people without knowing started criticizing us also. Parliament was prorogued because of that situation where a peculiar constitutional breakdown has happened in Uttarakhand and we have to take care of the appropriation bill. So it was prorogued. But 25th it will again recommence and then conclude by 13th May.
A look now at all the election-related news in our segment, Election Wrap. The JDS has released its list of candidates for the Kerala Assembly elections. 3 sitting MLAs of the party, that is a minor partner in the CPIM-led LDF opposition in Kerala, find place in the list of 5 candidates. Polls will be held on the 16th of May in the southern state. The Election Commission will be in poll-bound Puducherry and Tamil Nadu for 3 days from today onwards to take stock of their preparedness for staging the exercise. Both states vote for assembly polls on a single day, that is 16th of May. Now, during their stay in Puducherry and Chennai, the Election Commission brass will meet the representatives of political parties, district magistrates, SPs, DGPs and chief secretaries of the 2 states, along with officials of enforcement agencies. The Election Commission has said that it has seized over 49 crore rupees illegal cash in the 5 poll-bound states, with the maximum of 20 crore 40 lakh rupees confiscated in Tamil Nadu alone. It's followed by Assam, where 11 crore 13 lakh rupees in cash have been seized by the authorities till now. The seizures have been made by Election Commission appointed special flying squads and surveillance teams and those drawn from the Income Tax Department. 42 of the 523 candidates contesting in the second phase of Assam Assembly polls have criminal cases, and 32 of them face serious offences like murder, kidnapping and crime against women. The All India United Democratic Front tops the list with 10 out of 47 candidates, followed by BJP's 5 out of 35 nominees. 5 out of 57 candidates given tickets by the Congress as well have declared criminal background, while CPI and CPIM have fielded 1 candidate each with criminal background. Well, Bihar has been declared a dry state, with the Nitish Kumar government imposing a total ban on the sale and consumption of alcohol, including India-made foreign liquor, with immediate effect. Now, this decision was announced by the Chief Minister after a cabinet meeting. It makes it clear that no alcohol can be legally consumed in all of Bihar, including bars and restaurants. The Bihar government had banned sale and consumption of country and spiced liquor in rural areas from the 1st of April this year, but had allowed sale of IMFL in towns and cities. No license would be granted for sale and consumption of alcohol in places like hotels, clubs and bars in towns and cities as well, with immediate effect. Nitish Kumar, however, said army cantonment areas would be out of it as they regulate sale and consumption of alcohol in their own way. The Chief Minister also said that the 1991 guidelines, which prohibit sale of toddy within 50 meters of places like hospitals, education institutions, religious places among others in towns and 100 meters radius in rural areas, will be strictly implemented.
दूसरे फेज में विदेशी शराब को बंद करना था। 4 दिन का ही अनुभव ऐसा है कि पूरे बिहार का एक वातावरण इतना अनुकूल बन चुका है शराबबंदी के कि अब हम लोगों ने आज से यह निर्णय किया है कि अब आज से तत्काल प्रभाव से विदेशी शराब भी बंद।
जनता पार्टी दोनों सदनों में लगातार ये दबाव बनाई हुई थी कि अगर शराबबंदी लागू करना है तो कंप्लीट बैन होना चाहिए, पूर्ण शराबबंदी लागू होना चाहिए। और मुझे खुशी है कि बीजेपी का दबाव काम आया और 4 दिन के भीतर ही मुख्यमंत्री को बीजेपी के दबाव में, जनता के दबाव में और बिहार में कंप्लीट बैन लागू करने का निर्णय लेना पड़ा है।
With that, time for a very short break here on Breakfast News. All the international updates to follow on the other side.
Patthar Sahib, the centuries-old Gurudwara constructed in the memory of Guru Nanak. According to a local legend, once a wicked demon lived in the area who terrorized the people. It is said that Guru heard their woes and came to their aid. The demon got into a rage and decided to kill Guru Nanak Dev with a huge patthar or the boulder. But when it touched the Guru's body, it softened like a warm wax. The local lamas have held the patthar sacred since then and offer prayers to it.
Thanks for staying with us on Breakfast News. Moving on to Jammu and Kashmir now. CRPF has been deployed in the NIT campus in Srinagar that witnessed clashes between 2 groups of students following India's T20 exit. Now, the students allege that they were lathi-charged by the police while they were attempting to leave the campus. The state government has assured full security, with the Home Minister calling up the Chief Minister yesterday. A team from the HRD Ministry is now planning to visit the campus to address the issues of students.
The CRPF deployed at NIT campus in Srinagar. This after some students hailing from other states attempted to leave the campus and were lathi-charged by police.
The students of NIT, they had certain demands and they were moving towards gate to meet the media. The police tried to stop them because they were apprehending. I suppose the students, they go out, so it may flare up the situation. So definitely there was some mild lathi charge on that.
The campus has been tense after clashes between local and non-local students over India's defeat in the semi-final match in the World T20 tournament. After the clashes, the NIT authorities had shut down the institute, which was reopened on Monday. The state government has assured students and their families that they will provide security in the campus.
2 CRPF companies there. SF1 SP, he is stationed there. So far as the security is concerned, that's the concern of the state government. I have talked to Honorable Chief Minister also. She is also in touch with the administration, and she has also passed required directions.
In Delhi, Home Minister Rajnath Singh called up Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti and discussed the situation at the NIT with her. He later tweeted, the Chief Minister has assured him to look into the issue and take immediate action. The Human Resource Development Ministry officials in Delhi are also in touch with the management of the institute. In fact, a team from the HRD is slated to visit the campus soon. The state government says there are some internal issues in the campus that will be addressed by the central ministry.
There is no local issue. The issue which was there earlier, that is no more there. So definitely everybody, especially students, they must cooperate with the administration to maintain peace and order. They must go to the classes. All their genuine issues shall be addressed, and a team from HRD is coming to NIT. I am told by the director. I think their issues, their demands shall be addressed properly.
The institute's administration has also held meetings with the students to resolve the issue. Outstation students have alleged they have been cane-charged by the police with brute force and not allowed to move out of the NIT gate as they were holding protests. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The National Investigation Agency has rubbished Pakistan media claims that India did not cooperate with the joint investigation team during its probe into the Pathankot terror attack and failed to produce solid evidence to back its claim. Now, the NIA said that India had given enough evidence in the form of intercepts, phone records and DNAs of terrorists. The top investigating agency also said they have even provided additional information to Pakistan's JIT as demanded by them. The NIA rejected reports circulating in the Pakistani media saying there is an element within Pakistan which wants to create confusion, adding that the Indian investigating agency will not fall into such a trap. With Pakistan's GIT set to table the report to Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, a section of the Pakistani media has claimed that the report accuses India of using the attack as part of its vicious propaganda against Islamabad. The Indian government, however, has said it will wait for the official report, but politics over the issue has already started playing out.
मुझे लगता है कि आज तक पूरे 65 साल के इतिहास में, भारत के इतिहास में किसी भी प्रधानमंत्री ने पाकिस्तान के सामने इस तरह से घुटने नहीं टेके जितने श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने घुटने टेके हैं पाकिस्तान के सामने.
Now this report hasn't come out officially. These are media reports. If Pakistan does not meet good what its prime minister is assuring, then the onus is on Pakistan and it gets exposed even more.
हिंदुस्तान में पठानकोट में जांच के लिए आने की इजाज़त देना ये बहुत बड़ी गलती थी, क्योंकि पाकिस्तान के साथ जो व्यवहार हमारा रहा है और पाकिस्तान का हमारे साथ रहा है, तो पाकिस्तान के साथ कोई उम्मीद नहीं थी कि यही उम्मीद थी कि ये अपने ऊपर ही सब डालने वाले थे.
And India has told the United Nations that Jaish-e-Mohammed chief MasoodAzhar was one of the handlers of the terrorists who attacked the Pathankot air base, and his outfit received arms training from the Taliban. According to the draft list entry submitted in the UN, India said that there was credible evidence to show that handlers of the terrorists were senior leaders of the Jaish-e-Mohammed, including MasoodAzhar. The draft also mentioned that the motive of the attack was to avenge the hanging of Afzal Guru, who was convicted for the 2001 attack on Indian Parliament. Masood is said to have held a meeting with Lashkar-e-Taiba founder Hafiz Saeed and Hizbul Mujahideen chief Syed Salahuddin to decide on the attack. Remember, India has failed in its bid to have Masood designated as terrorist by the United Nations. China had blocked India's bid to have him designated as a global terrorist in the aftermath of the Pathankot strike. And 71 people have died in heavy rains and landslides in northwest Pakistan as well as Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Heavy rain started on Saturday night, wreaking havoc in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan regions. The National Disaster Management Authority has said that the 71 people who have been killed and 53 injured while 370 houses were destroyed. 48 people were killed in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, 15 in Gilgit-Baltistan and 8 in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. 10 more people were found dead in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province after the weekend downpour triggered landslides and collapsed the roofs of a dozen houses. On to Sri Lanka now. The country's parliament has been converted into a constitutional assembly to formulate a new constitution under which minority Tamils may get greater autonomy. The new constitution will replace the current executive president-headed constitution adopted in 1978. Now, the move was based on a resolution adopted in the House in January this year. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe heads the 21-member steering committee, with Speaker Karu Jayasuriya elected as chairman of the assembly. The Prime Minister pledged to fulfill two key demands of the Tamils in the country by giving them more political powers and by reducing the army's presence in the island's north. This is the second time in the country's history that a constituent assembly was formed to draft a new constitution since 1972. The 1978 constitution declared Sri Lanka free of the British sovereign. And on to the United States. Republican Ted Cruz and Democratic challenger Bernie Sanders have snatched victories in the crucial Wisconsin presidential primary. U.S. networks called the race for the two underdogs within half an hour of polls closing in the Midwestern state that borders Canada yesterday. Cruz, a conservative senator from Texas, was ahead with 49% of the vote compared to 35% for billionaire Donald Trump. Ohio Governor John Kasich was a distant third at 14%. Cruz's win in the Badger state is a serious blow to Trump and could alter the trajectory of the Republican race. This also cements Cruz's status as the leading anti-Trump candidate, with Kasich far back in the nomination battle. On the Democratic side, Vermont Senator Sanders led with 57% versus only 43% for Hillary Clinton. But the former Secretary of State can now look forward with some confidence to the upcoming races in New York and Pennsylvania. Time now for all the sporting action in Sports Beat. The Supreme Court has slammed the BCCI, saying the members have created a mutually beneficial society. The Apex Court also criticized the cricket body for the way it distributed funds to its affiliated units. The court was hearing the recommendations made by the Justice R.M. Lodha panel in the wake of the IPL 2013 spot fixing and betting scandal. Pakistan's wicketkeeper batsman Sarfaraz Ahmed has been named captain of the country's T20 team. He replaced Shahid Afridi, who stepped down as skipper after his side's dismal performance in the World T20 and Asia Cup tournaments. Sarfaraz was appointed vice-captain of the ODI and T20 teams last year. Luis Suarez scored twice as Barcelona fought back to beat 10-man Atletico Madrid in the Champions League quarter-final first leg. Fernando Torres gave Atletico a crucial away goal in the 25th minute, but the striker was sent off 10 minutes later. Defending champions Barcelona upped the tempo after the break, with Suarez scoring twice in space of just 12 minutes. Both teams will now meet for the second leg on 13th of April. In the other quarter-final match, German champions Bayern Munich edged past Benfica by a narrow 1-0 victory. Arturo Vidal scored the only goal of the match in the second minute. Bayern, who have reached the semi-finals every year since 2012, will now travel to Portugal for the second leg on the 13th of April. And that's all we have time for in this bulletin. Thanks, Mia.